I think it's a load of hogwash.
Oh.
I think 10 years ago, nobody talked about trans anything.
Yeah, because they didn't feel that they could. People were scared. It's like in, not that long ago, gay men didn't talk about being gay, did they? Not publicly. Because they'd get arrested.
Gay, because gay came over from America. They were called homosexuals before they were called gay.
All right. Well, then nobody talked about being homosexual. They got married and they pretended they were straight because they couldn't be out.
That's not true. I can give you. They
went to prison. It was illegal.
Yes, it was illegal at one time, but that wasn't 10 years ago.
I didn't say 10 years ago.
No, I did. I said trans was unheard of 10 years ago.
Yes, but I'm trying to draw a comparison with you, William, to say there was a time in history where nobody talked about being gay because it was illegal. So, trans people didn't feel they could talk about being trans because they feared being shunned by society. So suddenly society changes, we become more tolerant, hopefully, and so trans people can now express themselves. And children who are confused...
on the television talking about it, have you?
You haven't what?
I haven't seen or heard one on television talking about being a trans...
Many.
Have you? Oh, I haven't seen any.
Very many. Well, they might be that good that you wouldn't notice. They might have transitioned into beautiful women. You wouldn't notice.
Well, we're a bit rural down here.
Yeah,
we don't follow the fashions necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fashion to be trans. My friend Zoe said to me, she said, why would I go from the most privileged demographic, a white, middle-class, middle-aged, man, in this country, in Britain, why would I transition to be a woman, who is still treated badly in this country, no matter what anybody says? Why would I do that if it was just for fun or just to be, why would she do that? Why would Jack do that? Why would Jack transition to being a woman?
Well, perhaps he fancies going to ladies' lavatories. I don't know.
Well, you know that is a really quite despicable thing to say.
No, it's not despicable to say.
Well, what are you alluding to? Why would somebody want to go into the ladies' lavatories?
Well, why do people want to have bisexual lavatories in children's schools?
But that's not the same. That's not an answer to the question I just asked you.
It is in part.
No, it isn't. Why do you think that somebody would become trans to go into a ladies' lavatory? What is your assumption with that?
I don't know why. I've never met a trans.
But you must have a theory as to why they would want to do that. What is your theory?
I don't have a theory.
Oh.
I don't have a theory, but I don't understand why somebody would want to be trans in the first place.
Well, it's not a case of wanting to be, is it? It's not a case of, I know what I'll do today, I'll become trans. It's a case of feeling biologically driven, emotionally driven, psychologically driven to be other, to be not who you were born to be. And a lot of people used to use the word choice with homosexuality. I hope now that people realise that it's not a choice to be gay. It's not a choice to be trans.
Some people can control their emotions and some people can't.
Seriously, William?
Sorry?
You seriously think that somebody who is trans or gay or both?
Well, trans more than gay.
Well, okay. Well, let's say both. You seriously believe that somebody who is gay just controls their emotions and then sleeps with somebody of the opposite sex?
This is one of the reasons why it scares me a bit, because I'm concerned that teenagers as young as 13 and 14 can get treatment and hormonal treatment and possible surgery in order to change their sex because they're too young to make such a decision.
Oh, I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. I think that children should be a lot older before they can make any sort of decision about taking hormone tablets or transitioning fully. But people do not choose to, like Zoe said, why would I choose to go from one demographic, happy, kids, all of that, to being a trans woman, which is probably the lowest of the low in this country, treated the worst in this country? Why would anybody choose that if it wasn't an absolute, psychological and physical drive to be that way? Why would anybody choose it?
Yes. So can I ask you a question? What about vice versa?
What about vice versa?
Well, what about men wanting to become women, and then what about women wanting to become men?
Well, it's the same thing. They wouldn't do it if they didn't feel it was absolutely vital to their mental health, would they? Why would they choose it?
I can't imagine, except the desire to go to men's lavatories and ladies' lavatories.
But again, you mentioned that again, and I'm going to ask you again, William, because I think you're being a little bit disingenuous with me. Why would your theory be that people want to go into different lavatories? Are you insinuating that it is for sexual reasons?
Well, why else would they want to do it?
Ah, so there we go. We get to the truth now. So,
No.
yes, we do. The truth is, when you said you didn't have a theory, is you do have a theory. And your theory is that somebody transitions, goes through the whole rigmarole of years of psychological stuff and torture and emotional pain, transitions to become a woman so that they can go into a woman's lavatory to be perverted. That's your theory.
I am scared that might be the case.
Well, it isn't the case, is it?
I don't know.
Of course it isn't. I mean, there's always going to be perverts, right? Always. But why would you assume that a woman, a transitioned woman, would be any more of a pervert than a woman, or a man? I mean, I don't get it. It used to be the case. Now, hang on a minute. Again, William, it used to be the case, again, that when anybody knew somebody was homosexual, they treated them like perverts. Because they thought if you were a homosexual, you were bound to be a pervert. You were bound, actually, to be a paedophile.
Definition of a pervert, wasn't it?
Sorry?
I'm old enough to know that was almost a definition of a pervert.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But we know now, we know better now, don't we, William, that they're not perverts, right? So it's only going to be a matter of time before people, like you, it seems, think that they're only transitioning so that they can go into a lady's toilet to be perverted, which they're not.
Well, why else do they want to be converted to being a woman?
Okay. The reason, from what I understand, and I am not a transitioned female. No, I'm not an expert.
Neither of us are.
No, but I am open-minded, and I have a transgender friend, right? He's a good friend. I talk to her about stuff. And I've met other transitioned women, they're brilliant, love them, I have a great time, no issue at all with that. So I think I'm slightly more open-minded than you. There's no question of wanting to transition any more than there is of wanting to be gay, right? People are born gay and they die gay, right? People who transition feel that they are born into the wrong body. And it may be, people are saying it's a mental health issue. Many people say it's body dysmorphia. For whatever reason, they are compelled to live in the body of men transitioning to women. They are compelled to do it. Right? My friend Zoe nearly died from the mental health issue that she went through in trying to not be a transitioned woman.
How old was she when she all...
When she transitioned, I think she was 40. Something in that region.
Yeah.
Yeah. And went through a whole life of torture and emotional pain, and then finally transitioned. I want you to understand, William, that this is not a case of people going, oh, I know, I'll have my penis cut off and take hormones so I can go into a toilet. All right?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you do know, because I'm now informing you that is not the case. I mean, and by the way, if a man has had his penis removed and is now a fully transitioned woman, what do you think she's going to do in a female toilet?
I don't honestly know.
Well,
She won't have a cervix for a start, will she?
What do you think she's going to do? What kind of perversion is a woman, a transitioned woman, going to carry out in a toilet without a penis?
I don't know. I don't know
Well,
why
you should
people want to be a trans...
Well, I'll just explain to you, William. It's not a case of want. Get the word want
get cross.
out of your mind. I am getting cross because you're refusing to listen. It's not want. It's need.